Oh my gosh, hi guys. Hey man, we're gonna be talking to Grace. This is gonna be good. Now, Grace doesn't live here, but she's staying here for a while, and we're gonna talk about how she ended up in Costa Rica and what's her impressions of Costa Rica. So that's gonna be in a second, but we gotta pay bills. Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. TravelCostaRicaNow.com is a travel agency, so go to TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Fill out the 4-minute form. You'll be that much closer to the vacation of a lifetime. We're like you, having best friends who live in Costa Rica, who know Costa Rica, totally hooking up your Costa Rica vacation. Hey man, I appreciate when you subscribe. Please subscribe, but YouTube does not care. Just because you subscribe doesn't mean you see the next video. You gotta hit the notification bell if you wanna keep updated on our travel tips, talking to people like Grace, the medical tourism stuff, the walkthroughs, all the stuff we do. So hit that notification bell, and if you're not gonna do that, donate. Grace, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah,
this is
it's a
going to be
pleasure,
exciting,
Michael.
because you know I purposely didn't ask you a lot of these questions, so I didn't know, because we've done a few activities together. We went out on the lake the other day. We did that hike, that long hike for a
by La Catarata. Yes. It was so good.
Don't pick up the gulp. Okay, Grace, let's get it. We're gonna go with you're young. I think we're not gonna say, but I know you're young. So I wanna know, because I always find it very interesting what people are doing before they end up getting here. Like what's going through their mind? Are they working? Are they in school? Are they just going, I can't put up with this anymore? I need to, what was, you know what I mean? So where were you in your life that let's get you here.
Okay, beautiful. So I was actually living in Rochester, New York, and I had been there for about 3.5 years. And I'm not in school. I run my own business. I do women's life coaching. So I have the pleasure of being able to work remotely from anywhere. And prior to coming to Costa Rica, I had felt really stagnant. A lot in my life just wasn't working out for me. And it was almost like this feeling of being in this fishbowl that was just too small, right? And it wasn't really going anywhere. The growth, which is one of my core values, was not what I wanted it to be.
But it wasn't necessarily what you were doing. It was the environment in which you were doing it in. Was that stagnant, or was?
Yeah. So I think a large part of it was the environment. Like we all know the saying, right? That in order for a flower or a plant to truly grow and blossom, the environment needs to be supportive of that growth. So Rochester was amazing for the time that I was there, right? However, it had completed its purpose for me. I feel like I extracted all the nutrients out of that environment that I could, and now it was
kind of like you learned as much as I can. Now I need to go and find more,
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like, okay, now I need to move on to the next step in my journey and grow into a bigger bowl, right? Because you know the analogy with fish, if you're trapped in too small of a bowl, it's really, you can only grow so much. So I needed to get out of that environment and expand more to come into this next phase of my journey.
So, what did your family think? Okay, wait, no, we're not there yet. So, how did you come up with traveling? Or how did you come up with, you're not really, so can we call you a digital nomad? Are you kind of a digital nomad in a sense? Is that what, just because you work remotely, does that mean you're a digital nomad?
I have the opportunity and the potential to become a digital nomad. Right? So I can work from anywhere. That is an option for me. And I have taken several road trips across the US, like month-long road trips. The most recent one I had taken was September to October. And so I was able to bring my work gear with me. I could just travel and go as I please. And
that really is the best feeling when you can kind of work for yourself.
Absolutely.
So how did Costa Rica come on your radar?
Okay, so I had felt interested in Costa Rica for a few years. I've heard amazing things about the nature, the biodiversity, the fresh food, right? And so I hadn't done a whole lot of research into Costa Rica, honestly. It was more of an intuitive impulse, okay? So I do a lot based on what my intuition is pulling me towards. So I actually felt that intuitive pull towards Costa Rica, and the idea popped into my mind, and it was like, oh, let's go there for a month. Let's live there for a month and just see what it's like.
Now, just real quick, sorry to interrupt, were you looking at any other place, or was it really Costa Rica just calling you? Was it like, did it first start manifesting itself like, I need to travel outside the United States? You know what I mean? I mean, or you just go, Costa Rica? You know what I mean? Was this a process of like, maybe some other countries in the very beginning, even leaving the United States?
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you, Michael. So I would say that it first manifested as, okay, I need to get out of Rochester. I need to get out of New York. I want to go somewhere where the climate is different, right? So I was thinking West Coast. Originally, I was like, oh, maybe the West Coast of the United States could be a good fit. I was thinking about maybe Puerto Rico. And then I was like, well, while we're at it, why play small?
Go big or go
Yeah,
home.
exactly. I was like, why am I limiting myself to these small options? And part of coming to that conclusion was me trying to find potential living areas, and nothing was really aligning, right? When you try to and plan something and there's resistance every step of the way. So
like trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Maybe it's not that.
Right. So I listened, I tuned in, I was like, okay, maybe that's not it. So I was like, all right, what about Costa Rica? And then first I talked myself out of it, right? And I was like, oh, that's too crazy. That's too out there. So I let it sit for a bit, and then I was talking to a good friend of mine, and she didn't know that I was thinking about all this stuff, right? She knew I wanted to leave New York, but she didn't know where, and she didn't know about Costa Rica. But then one day we were talking in conversation, she's like, well, why don't you go live in Costa Rica for like 3 months or something? And I was like, that's really weird that you just said that. Everything started to kind of align.
Kind of a sign, a little bit of a sign.
Exactly. And within that, the next 3 days, I had 2 other people bring up Costa Rica to me in conversation, not knowing that was in the back of my mind already, and a bunch of other like TV commercials, Netflix documentaries mentioning Costa Rica, all while just being like kind of on autopilot.
Isn't that weird how that happens when you start thinking about something and then you start noticing it more?
Exactly.
Has this commercial always been saying Costa Rica, or am I just noticing it now? Or
exactly.
What?
So I was like, I'm gonna follow this intuitive impulse and go where my heart and my spirit is calling me to go. And so here I am.
Did you get I won't get too personal because I don't want to get too personal, but did you get pushback from the family? How did the family feel?
Yeah.
Were they supportive? Or maybe that's too much. You don't have to answer any question.
I'm totally comfortable. One of my core values is also vulnerability and transparency and authenticity. So I appreciate these deeper questions. And so my family was very supportive. My parents, I told them, I kind of just sprung the news on them one day, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna live in Costa Rica for 3 months. Like, how do you feel about that? And
they're probably like, Grace is just being Grace. We got to expect that from her.
At this point, I'm sure they've seen a whole range of stuff from me. So it didn't catch them by surprise, or if it did, they did a really great job of managing it. Now, my parents are also avid travelers. They absolutely love that, right? So they were actually very supportive of me, and they're like, yeah, go there for 3 months, see how you feel. And I told them, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back. We'll see what happens after the 3 months.
I like how you were playing this by ear. That's the best way to do it. Now, did you have any apprehensions about, because I think I just know this, you haven't mentioned this, and it could not, maybe it's not true, but you came here as a solo traveler.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Did you have any apprehension about kind of, other country, maybe you heard some stories, or, did that go through your mind about single woman?
Yes, it definitely did. I was nervous about that, and especially because there's a lot of societal fear around being a solo female traveler. And for me, I did have a little bit of that, but I was able to really feel into that and to allow myself to experience that fear. So I was able to release it rather quickly and recognize, okay, there's ways that I can keep myself safe. There are environments that I can be in that cultivate safety, and there's different measures that I can take, like not going out super late at night by myself, or
walking home from the, wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of comments, obviously it comes down to common sense, really. I mean, if you don't put yourself in the situation, I mean, I've made a lot of videos about that, and even traveling single as, a woman. So, but I think, and it sounds like if your mom and dad traveled, you must have been in tow at least a few times.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you picked up some common sense
Right,
traveling,
tactics, yeah.
you know, so that's cool.
Yeah, I was definitely blessed enough to be able to learn some of those tips and
But it's
tricks
great
from
that they're supportive because, you know, a lot of people I talk to, you know, a lot of friends, family, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, you're ruining your life. Or, you know, what are you doing? You should be staying here, buckling down. You know, that kind of stuff, that whole traditional thinking of.
Right.
Actually, I just think they're jealous personally because
Yeah.
they're caught up in their little mundane lives and they're watching you. Don't leave. Misery loves company, Grace.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely been a pattern with some of the less supportive people in my life, which thankfully now I have very few of.
Because you kind of.
Yes, I was like, okay, if you're not going to support me in a way that feels good, I love you, but I'm going to love you from afar.
Now, as you got here, so the impressions you had or whatever the energy was about Costa Rica, is it coming to fruition? I mean, is it becoming true? Have you been surprised about anything, like shocked by anything, or like, wow, I didn't know that was going to happen like this? I mean, how's your experience been since, like, I mean, getting off the plane, really?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so overall, my experience has been absolutely incredible. It's been a beautiful healing journey for me, as well as becoming more extroverted, actually, which is
you
new
mentioned that
for
the other
me.
day. That's good.
Yeah, it's new for me. So it's been very expansive in that sense. And I love the biodiversity, like we've talked about. Love the fresh fruits, the fresh veggies. I love the nature. I love the animals. It's so incredible. And one of the major things that I'm learning from Costa Rica is the value of slowing down and surrendering to the natural pace and rhythm of this culture, of this environment. So I think that's been really helpful.
That was a very good way to explain the pura vida, you know?
Yes.
No, really, because
Yes.
I've said that, you know, I've said the same thing. It teaches you to like, well, it kind of makes you. You either accept it or you don't, but it does, you slow down whether you want to or not. And some people can't just accept that. But that's cool. So it's funny when you say extrovert, it almost sounds like you kind of had to be a little extrovert because you're in another country and you are by yourself and you kind of, well, somebody's got to say something or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
It's good to have that mutual exchange, mutual flow of energy with people. It's wonderful to connect with other travelers, other locals, you know, ticos as well. It's been so amazing. And I think that to go back to what you were saying about the pura vida, right, that lifestyle, so for me, I'm not typically a super relaxed, slow-paced person. I was like, so coming from New York and just the East Coast in general,
Hamster wheel.
Yeah, I was like, go, 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 right? So when I came here, I feel like the energies kind of picked up on that. And so I had a lot of clients trying to cancel and reschedule, a lot of technological difficulties, all this stuff that was inviting me further into slowing down. That and just the surrounding culture as well. So I mean, like you said, we can either learn to roll with that and to grow.
Well, and actually embrace it. It really, not just accept it.
Yeah.
Take it in and
exactly find the value in it, right? Find the peace in that, or we can allow it to break us and crumble us.
Right. Mom, I'm coming home.
Right. That wasn't me though. That's not happening.
So where have you been so far? Just here?
So far I've been in La Fortuna, and next week I will do some more traveling, going to San Jose to visit a friend, and then we're either going to go to Playa Grande or what's the
Puerto Viejo?
Yeah, Puerto Viejo. Thank you.
Yeah, because you said it. You said that yesterday.
I know. I always have trouble.
In my head, I was going, "Come on, Puerto Viejo," because
I want to go there.
I think I only say that not because it's like Playa Grande is not good, but I just think it would be great that you could see kind of a whole nother side.
I know that's
of the
what
culture,
I was thinking.
because now you know that's a different. I mean, a cool
Caribbean vibe,
but but totally different. So I mean, I'm hoping like you kind of pick that thing. So now, is there anything, I don't want to get all negative vibey, but is there something you haven't been like, well, I would change that part of the code, you know? Is there been anything you haven't been, you know, too excited about?
Yes, there is. So 2 things. Number one, number one, the mosquitoes, they haven't been as bad as I thought that they were going to be, but also keep in mind that I am a mosquito magnet, as you and I had talked about.
As I am too?
Yeah, so for your average person, probably isn't that bad during dry season, right? Just for us. And then
every day, you know what? I get worried when I make a video that I'm going to start getting bit.
Yeah.
I have it on my legs right now
Oh,
because I get
yeah.
it starts throwing me off my game. I'm getting bit.
Right, 'cause
I'm
it's
starting to scratch.
distracting.
Yeah, if I'm in the room, you're not getting
You're
bit.
safe. Everyone
Right,
else
right.
is safe. I'm right there
All right,
with
so
you.
the mosquitoes, which that's a good
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. So then the second thing that I would say is the machismo culture here. And this is not all men here. However, there have been a few that have given off a very inappropriate,
More of aggressive-y vibe.
yeah, aggressive, a little bit of toxic masculinity, that kind of energy going on. So as a female solo traveler, it can be stressful,
and a little
and disrespectful, and a little bit of a boundary violation a lot of the time. So that part, and I understand that that's the way the culture is right now. However, it doesn't make it acceptable.
It doesn't. Oh,
Yeah.
The only thing I can give a shout out to the Costa Rican men are, I know it can be bad, but other Latin countries can be almost
Right.
5 times worse.
Right.
Because I've been around them. I mean, I've seen aggressiveness to where, it's not just one, it's a bunch of them. It's
Yeah.
all the time. It doesn't
Right.
stop, and they're all like that. Or 9 out of 10
Right,
here.
right.
It's almost
it's
more of a
not-
bad apple or a couple bad apples.
Yeah, it's not terrible, and don't get me wrong, I've met some amazing Costa Rican men here, and they have been super respectful, really kind, really respectful of the boundaries and everything. And you're right, it's just when you get the couple of bad ones, it's like,
Ugh.
okay. But, that's an opportunity also to practice setting those strong boundaries
Yeah,
and
exactly.
reinforcing them. So we can make that into a learning and growth opportunity as
Which,
well.
if I know Chicos as much as I know Chicos, as long as I think that, no, that's very true. If
Yeah.
you just kind of step up and don't really take that right from the jump, the start,
Yeah.
they do tend to back off. I could be wrong about that. I'm not a woman, but
Yes.
I've seen it from afar. I've been here long enough to see it. When the person's a little bit more assertive,
Yes.
they kind of go, okay, wait, I don't know if I'm going to
Yes,
this.
I've noticed that as well. If you confront the situation and say, look, that makes me uncomfortable, don't do that, then the person backs off. However, if you try to be nice about it, like, oh, I don't know, like maybe later or something.
That's almost
it's-
no means yes to
right,
them.
because the
She
no,
really,
yeah, the no isn't like assertive enough almost. So
right.
So I think it's definitely a practice in being more assertive for sure.
That's good. So, what have you been pleasantly surprised in something? Okay, so when I got here, I didn't know how much I like birds.
Yeah.
I could sit and watch birds, and I also the same with the plants. I can spend, I don't want to say hours, but hours kind of going, wow,
with
look at
you.
this. But I didn't know. I mean, I knew I like animals, but I didn't know I could sit and watch all these different cool birds just
Right.
doing bird stuff.
Yes.
Almost
yes.
like watching a cool fish tank in a sense. I don't know, but I didn't know I liked birds as much as I did, and I didn't know I liked plants as much as I did.
Yeah. So I'm with you on the birds thing. The plants, like I kind of anticipated that because, my home kind of looked like a jungle already, like an indoor jungle, So that was already something I knew that I loved. Birds, I found them really cool, but I didn't have like very strong pull towards them. And now I'm always like looking up in the sky, like trying to learn the different calls so I can see like
we
the
did it
toucans.
yesterday with the hawk going by. We're like, is that a hawk?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was amazing. So I'm right there with you on the bird thing. And something else I think was that I was pleasantly surprised by was really loving the energy of going to the sodas. Like the local Tico restaurants here, I absolutely
Best
love
time
that.
to have conversation too with them,
Yeah, it's very nice. It's been a very great opportunity to practice my Spanish, to learn Spanish, and my Spanish is terrible. Like
I don't know. I heard you yesterday, and I was like, I was getting jealous. You pronounce words better than I do. So
the pronunciation, I work really hard at. However, like the grammar, the syntax, it's not up to par. Like we talked a little bit about that, but the opportunity to practice is amazing. And so that brings me to another point that I absolutely love and was surprised by is the local Tico slang. I find really cool.
Yeah.
I
get a couple good ones.
Yeah, like there was one that I learned the other day, like my is like dude. And people say it all the time, like, my pura vida.
No, it's in the sentence. It can be in the sentence
yeah,
2 or 3
like multiple
times.
times, which is really cool. I was like, oh wow. So even within Spanish-speaking countries, there's so much nuance. There's
Yeah,
so
it's
much
fun,
culture. Yeah.
I mean, my bad Spanish is notorious because I've talked about it a lot of times. I just don't feel comfortable even saying it like I could say it, like I go to the gym, I could go, hola Mai, or ¿cómo estás, Mai? But I just don't feel I can. It's like an outsider trying to be cool and he's not. And it's
that's
like
fair.
which is that's my own insecurity about learning the language.
I think you're cool, Michael.
No, I know, but not in, not saying it in another language to them. It's like it's like it's their word, not my word.
Right. So almost feeling like it's not quite your place.
Right.
Or,
exactly that.
Okay, I can understand
exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah. So So you don't really have a timetable how long you're going to be in Costa Rica, or you do kind of have a somewhat of a timetable?
So right now I have an exit flight March 31st. However, what I'm thinking is I'm gonna take that exit flight, probably, sort out a few things back in the States and then come right back.
Okay, so you were never going to keep going somewhere else. It was going to be here and back at some point, whether it was 6 months or 4 months. You are going to go back to New York. You're not going to go down to Panama or keep going down Central America.
I don't think so. I think I'm right now, at least for the time being, I'll say, I'm really loving Costa Rica. I'm loving this energy, and I feel called to stay here longer than the 3 months will allow me to. So if I'm going to have to sort out some stuff anyway before moving down here, then I will go and do that.
I think I'd be remiss in not asking you a little bit more. You mentioned it kind of quickly because I asked, but how about getting in a little bit more what you do?
Okay, yeah.
So maybe if somebody's interested, maybe we can, well, first you'd have to be interested that you could accept the email, but if you let me, I would put your how to get a hold of Grace if you're interested in what she does.
Yes, absolutely. I would.
Or you just say off camera, just like, Michael,
no,
I can't believe you asked that. You put me on the spot.
Not at all.
Actually, I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
But, so why don't you maybe a little bit more of what you do? I think that's interesting. I found it interesting, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is I am a women's life coach, and I work with women who want to heal their past traumas, and I do this through body-based healing the nervous system through movement, through sensuality, through regulating the nervous system with different techniques. And by doing this, we come more into the divine feminine essence, and we allow women to become more empowered, right? Because if we think of trauma as this weight that is holding women back, right? And keeping you kind of stuck, keeping you small, keeping you in that people pleaser mindset, that perfectionist mindset, that mindset of, oh, I should do this and be this, right? You are blocking yourself off from your truest essence, right? Your truest power. So what I do is I work with women through those past traumas and come into the full bloom of who they are and to love every part of themselves. And what I do is, so I do one-to-one coaching, I do private coaching, and I also do group coaching as well. And I also do free women's circles that are on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Savage Sisterhood Sanctuary.
If you let us add that, we'll put that in the description as well.
I would love to do that. And yeah, I'm truly blessed to be able to work with the clients that I do.
Now, did you learn this through your years? Did you go through it yourself in a sense to find yourself or your true essence, or did you just found a guru that taught you this stuff, or did you actually practice or go through it, learn more about it, and then?
So I didn't have a specific guru that taught me anything, and it's
I'm sorry, not the right word, but shaman or something. I don't know.
So no, for me it was very much through my own healing journey. At some point in my early 20s, I recognized, okay, I've literally created my own hell on earth. It was a very challenging existence. I had all kinds of physical health problems. I had a lot of mental, emotional health problems. My spirituality was non-existent, right? So I had a lot of challenges at that point in my life. And at some point I recognized, okay,
What do I do?
Yeah, exactly. I recognize I have to take this healing journey into my own hands and realize that the reason why I feel the way that I do is because I don't feel free to be who I actually am. I don't feel like it's okay to be who I actually am. I grew up in quite a repressive culture, right? And it was something that, you know, you kind of do what you're told.
It's really like the free expression too much, or it's not maybe applauded as much.
Right, and there's certain things that are valued, like, for example, left brain thinking, so math, logic, science, all that kind of stuff is really valued. And the stuff that I love, right, creativity, intuition, you know, emotions, all of my gifts and my strengths weren't really appreciated and valued. Now, so when I came into that time in my life, it was really hard for me. And I went through what I like to call like this underworld initiation journey of like going through hell and coming back up. So it was a lot about my own healing journey. And through this time, like,
well, you got to go to hell to get to heaven, right?
Exactly.
I mean, in a sense,
yes, you know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, I'm still in hell, so I know. Did you start researching through some books? Were you like guided to somewhere and they were speaking to you and like, oh wow, because I love reading, so this book led me to this book, this book led me to this book, and I was like, wow, I did not know this stuff existed quite like this.
Yes.
And people, it's like they're speaking to you personally.
Right.
It's like, wow, they wrote this book for me. That was so nice of them.
Exactly. So I found it through books, through podcasts, through documentaries, through videos on YouTube, just a plethora of information that really helped me to expand my awareness and to recognize, okay, the way that I thought the world was is such a limited view and a limited perspective. And then something else that also really helped me when I got a couple years into my own healing path was doing coaching training, coaching certification, and I was my first client, you know? Right. And if I can drastically turn my life around and create this amazing shift that I've been able to create for myself, anybody can do it.
Now you just want to share it, right? It's like, I can help you if you just,
yes, exactly.
That's so cool, man. Well, I'm glad you had the time to talk a little bit, because when I first met you, I was like, she's interesting. I got to talk to her, even though she doesn't live here. But you know what? Hey, man, after March 31st, we might be talking to her again at the end of the year.
Yes.
We might be here.
Yes.
Okay, if you want to get a hold of Grace, I'm going to have how to get a hold of her in the description. Yeah, and Facebook and whatever. Grace, thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. It's I wish you the best of luck, but I don't think you need much luck.
I make my own luck, baby.
That's right. Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. Things are going to pop up. Always do your homework and research. If you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere, and if it's Costa Rica, there's no better place to start than my videos. I'll put my videos up against anybody. Have a good day. Thank you. I got to turn this off over here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go for it. You're totally fine.